Now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PoGo.
It's PoGo! PoGo! It's PoGo! PoGo! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! PoGo! PoGo.
Welcome to an exciting episode of the PoGo Podcast. I am your host, Trainer Thatch, here today with my spectacular co-host. I've got Dr. Shamu.
Hello.
His PhD's in English. And we've also got Clod9.
Hello, everyone.
There we go. And welcome to the PoGo Podcast. PoGo, of course, stands for the Pokemon Underground Champions League, a nonsensical name we came up with in 2009, where we talk everything Pokemon, from the trading card game to the video game to everything in between. And so to not be in between and be on the extremes of that, I opened some Stellar Crown this week. That's about it. I don't know if I've done much else. I did play Crystal, but not as much as I would have liked.
So I'm so behind the TCG because I haven't gotten any of the like junk stuff that I need from Shrouded Fabled.
Shrouded Fable, to be fair, like there's not even that much to get from Shrouded Fable.
Oh, I have a list. And it's like, I think it's like the Night Catcher.
Yeah.
It's the Night Stretchers. It's like most of the trainers, honestly.
Yeah, Night Stretchers, like grab yourself a Pheasantipity.
Oh, I need the Duskull line.
And the Duskull line. Yeah, those are like the only cards that I
and Pheasantipity. I think I wanted to Kyurem and a Haxorus.
The Petrarunt EX is also...
Petrarunt is on my list. The problem is I went to like a couple of my local stores and no one has just like generic bulk right now. And I'm like, because I'm like, I would gladly, like, I just don't want to have to pay for it online and have to deal with shipping. I'm like, I'll go and pay $1 for all these things. And it'll be a little more expensive, but to get it immediately.
I do that a lot, where there's like one store nearby my house that just opened up, and they've got, they're obviously not, they don't like hold League or anything, but they do Pokemon because they're the Pokemon investor type people. And what they'll do is they won't know what they have sometimes because like they're aware of the meta, but they're not like, they don't keep up with it. So most of their prices come from TCG Player.
No, so they might have something that was really good like a regional ago and they have it at an exorbitant price, but then something that's just really doing well now is like super cheap.
Yeah.
And just not know.
That's exactly what it is. Like it's just like they just don't know, and so
they're like a regional behind effectively, or like a shift behind generally. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can just go there and pick up cards. It's great.
Every couple of days, or every week or so, I'll check. Like I'll throw all the things I have in my saved later in TCG and see if I can find things that it's not going to be like, all right, well, why can't I get all this from like one store?
Yeah.
And not have it be like stupid.
Yeah, I will say that's what I like. I like about Direct. I generally forget to, like, cancel it, but I generally get use out of it, like, every month anyways, of just, like, okay, cool, I can get, like, everything from Direct, generally. Sometimes I can't, of course, but, like, a lot of times, like, oh, I need a couple more Pokemon things, let me grab a couple of those from Direct for, like, 4 cents. And I have free shipping, because I pay for the subscription. So it's like, alright. It's really nice, actually, because sometimes you get some really good deals, sometimes you don't. But, like, it's the fact that you're gonna get it in a day or two. Well, not a day or two, but, like, you're gonna get it, you know? It's not like a seller who's not gonna get it. Getting it from the Direct is, like, it's coming. Worst case, it's the wrong condition sometimes, or the wrong card. Happened to me both positively and negatively, but you're gonna get it, you know? So, in worst case, they're very honest about everything. It's like, okay, cool, it got messed up, here's your money back, or we'll send out the replacement. Done.
Yeah. It's between that and, like, with Stellar Crown just coming out, I'm trying to figure out what I want to play when I get free time to play.
Right.
There's not much in Stellar Crown except for, like, a couple trainers, or if you want to do colorless, then if you want colorless, then there's a lot from Stellar Crown. You need, like, everything. But
I think no matter what, you should be picking up the Hoots and the Noctowls.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Those are a penny each, like, maybe some Crispins, and then that's about it. And then depending on what else you're playing.
It's the third set of the year, and the third set of the year is the one where they just throw all of, like, the garbage from Japan in it. Yeah. And it's so, I hate these sets because it's like, they use these for ketchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they have the Charmander, the Charmander full art that came in the 151 ETBs, or it was the Charmander promo that came in the Obsidian Flame ETBs.
Yeah.
Like, there's a Squirtle and a Bulbasaur that went with that in Japan, and they never released them until now in the US. Like, it's insane. Absolutely insane. I just like how they handle that. I really wish they would just sync up the TCG like they sync up the games now.
Yeah.
That would be really nice.
Yeah, I wish that's how they handled it, because I really just like how we're combining sets and everything. They could still combine sets because typically, sometimes Japan will release 2 at once. Mm-hmm. But even then, like, a new set a month I don't think is that bad. I mean, Magic is somehow surviving with it, and I also am a big fan of
Magic's
smaller
changed
sets.
A little bit for it, but yeah.
I'm a big fan of smaller sets in general, so...
Usually with Magic, though, what's happening now is, like, there's a set you don't want. Unless you're fully, like, shooting competitive, but, like, cause, like, right now for me, I'm like, I don't want Duskmorn. I wanted Bloomborough, but I also got lucky on, like, 1 box. I'm like, cool, I got everything I needed pretty much, done. And I didn't have to go too crazy. But, like, it's like, that's usually how it is. It's like, here's the set I want, here's the set I don't want, here's the set I want. And it's rough when it's like, here's the set I want, here's the set I need, here's the set I want, here's a set I don't want. And then here's, like, 2 sets you need. And it's like, it just drains. Cause, like, I've been doing a little bit of Pokemon catch-up just because I'm going to the Kentucky Regional with Seth in, like, October. So I'm, like, trying to get a couple weeks together.
It's the early October.
It's, like, mid. It's, like,
is
the 12th. So it's like early mid. Something like that, yeah.
I thought it was the 4th.
But,
maybe I was wrong.
Maybe not the Kentucky one, but whatever. There's one in mid, like, October that we're going.
Yeah, I believe
But, what did I think? Oh, but yeah,
you're planning on
like,
going. Your dates are probably correct compared to mine, so...
Hey, if not, I booked a flight for a completely wrong weekend. So
no, you're correct.
Either way, we missed out on the...
You're absolutely correct.
Okay. But, no, we missed out on the actual registration, so it's just been like, cool, we're just going to do side events, that's fine.
Oh, you didn't get
I'm just trying to figure out, what do I want to
Is it because
bring?
they filled up too fast, or is it because...
Both.
Okay, like, how fast did they fill up?
We missed out by, like, a month.
Oh, okay.
We just missed we missed it in general, but it filled out quickly anyways.
Okay, I was just curious how quickly it was filling up.
A couple hours.
No, they just didn't. We didn't see any, like, actual people, like, talking about the registration, so it's kind of like, hey, is there registration? It's like, I have no idea. Oh, it's already full. Not surprising, but also we were, like, a month late. It was, like, in August. I was like, what?
You gonna play more Drago for its last stand?
I am not, for one reason. I need to, like, so my thought was, like, right now my Drago is not up to date. For me to be up to date, I need to shove, like, $70+ into it.
What do you need to buy?
What?
Ogerpons, Dragapult, Prime Catcher.
You don't even have... Okay, you don't have Ogerpons.
Okay. I would say, because I have... Yeah. Oh, I got all that.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's just, like... I need to get 1 Dragapult, 1 Ogerpon for my own collection, like, the full arts. But, like, it's one of those things of, like, cool, if I'm buying this, I'm shoving $70+ into it, $70+, like $70 into competing. It's not worth that $140 to, like, go 0-3 or, like, 2-3, you know? I'm not...
Yeah.
I don't really want to do that, and I don't want to go up against other Dragos and have that mirror match, which is probably not going to be fun in general. So I'm like, I'm not...
That's fair.
I'm not planning on playing it at all. So I was like looking at other decks, I'm like, what can I build? And right now I've just got United Wings built, which is something you might want to grab too from Shrouded Fable.
Yeah, from Shrouded Fables, the Dartrix.
The Dartrix.
Absolutely.
The Dartrix Rowlet, yeah. And that was like what I was thinking of, and like, it didn't seem bad.
It needs one more, I think, for it to be good.
I feel like it does too, but it's also at a point right now where it's fine. You're one prizer that is at least doing 2 KO.
It's fine is like a very accurate way to put it.
Yeah, it's very much fine, because, like, you can easily get one doing 200-ish damage, which is enough to deal with, like...
Granted, is it not just, like, a worse Ancient Box, then?
Ancient Box is +10, but it works for any Ancient card.
Yeah, I know, but isn't it just a worse Ancient Box right now?
I don't know, not when it's, like, 1 energy. But, I don't know, like, it could be, but I also...
Because it's also a very cheap deck that I know is... put up results.
I think I don't know if it's better or not. I haven't played with Ancient Box myself, but I would say it's probably on the same axis.
Ancient Box is fine. I can't jive with it. Like, I can't do it. I don't know why. It just doesn't fit me. And that's just that's just me. Like, I can play United Wings. I like United Wings. I understand how it rolls. But, like, Ancient Box, I just can't. I can't get it to work. It's me. It's a me problem. It's not the deck. It's a me problem for sure.
Yeah. I think it's on the same axis. The thing with United Wings is you have type coverage. You have dark, you have electric, you have grass, which you can actually get into all three.
Yeah, you need that too for United Wings.
And that let's think that would be 2-hit KOs be 1-hit KOs.
Yeah.
I don't know. With Stellar Crown out, like, my mind would want to go and, like, play something fun and dumb.
I want to play Terrapagos. Terrapagos sounds fun again. I just want to play Terrapagos.
The issue with that's also, like, that's like, I don't know how many Terrapagos you run, but it's just a price thing. It's like, cool, I need to shove $10 per Terrapagos.
3, I believe it is.
You probably just run 3, yeah. That's not bad.
I am looking into Miraidon, though, with Galvantula, trying to do,
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Really trying to do, Miraidon Galvantula specifically, though, with the stadium, so you have 8 bench spots, and using something like Raikou.
Yep.
To just, like, go crazy. Trying, like, attacking in a Regieleki or two, just to get a bit more pumped, too, and just in case.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, some jank pile is, like, another option. I'm just trying to build a few things.
So stadium removal is going to be much more important, or stadium bumping.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the biggest weakness with the deck, too. Like, if they just play a stadium, you just kind of get screwed. You know, it's like, cool.
I'm gonna cut us off here, guys, because we can make an entire episode where the 3 of us do this.
Oh, 100%.
And because we all love the game, but I'm gonna go ahead and move us on to our news segment because there are a couple things to cover there. So let's cue the epic music.
Live from the Lavender Town Radio Tower. This just in.
Welcome to our news. In the news, there are a few things to talk about. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are suing Palworld developer for patent infringement. Even though that wasn't happening back in January, it's fine. I don't know that I care.
Nope.
It is what it is. Like,
there's more drama about it, but I won't get into it here.
Yeah.
You want to know more? We'll talk later.
Yeah. Come to the Discord, puclpodcast.com.
People are talking
Shameless
about
plug.
it, so.
Yeah.
And then Pokemon Quest is ending its support in China in February, so the game will actually be dead. Woo! It ended support in the US way before that, but it's okay.
Yeah. I forgot about Pokemon Quest.
Everybody did, because they gave us Gen 1 and then nothing else, but then they kept updating it in China of all places, which is even more confusing to me. I'm wondering if they stopped it because of like something Minecraft. I don't know.
It probably was a thing of like that, and a lot of the the cube games or voxel games, I think it's called, in general.
Yeah.
But like that genre was like that was really hyped around that time, and then they were just late to it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they tried to like push the plushes for that and everything too at the same time, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Claude, you've got these next pieces. Have fun.
I do. I will try my best. So we've got Grass Superior is the latest 7-star raid. It's not bad if you can do something about Contrary, but it does have Gastro Acid in its move pool, so you'll need an ability shield if you are not neutralizing it with an ability like Unaware Skeleturge. So yeah, just do Skeleturge and you're completely fine.
Yep, done.
The Lico's Sprigatito event ends the end of September if you haven't claimed it yet. The first regional of Regulation H happened. There were a wide variety of teams, with 12 different starter Pokemon making it to day 2. Notably on that, the guy who won it, I know him from some of the draft servers.
Oh,
which
really?
Is really kind of cool.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, a bunch of the servers were like, he's in top 8, he's in top 4, he won the thing. I'm like, that's so cool to see, like, a player.
That's awesome.
Like, went there and actually just won it at his very first regional.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really cool. Anyways, yeah, but there are 12 different starter Pokemon making it to day 2. None from Kanto, Johto, or Unova. 1 from Hoenn and Sinnoh, and 2 from Kalos, and all the other ones that we all know and love. But yeah, it's Nicholas Morales had a rain team with Mousehold throwing, hitting his own Archaludon to pump up stamina.
That's cool.
Which was really cool to see, like, in the finals.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's a lot of that. After a successful banning of Gouging Fire a couple weeks ago, OU is now testing Kyurem, because we can't have an OU without banning or testing something.
Yes. That's what it feels like most of the time now.
Yep. Go In the Go news, the Legendary Heroes event runs from September 26th to October 1st, and lets you pick up sword and shield to influence. Lets you pick sword or shield to influence incense encounters. During these events, your coughing will evolve into its top hat form, and you can shiny hunt Zacian for the first time ever. The next community day is Seawaddle on October 5th.
Everybody wanted that. Everybody was like,
so for all you Seawaddle fans, get ready.
To be fair, there are worse like bug Pokemon than Seawaddle, so I accept.
True.
Like if they were just like, oh man, do you want Wurmple Day? I'd be like, not really. Seawaddle Day, Wurmple Day or Seawaddle Day? I'll take Seawaddle every time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I completely agree.
Like that was one of the better Gen 5 designs, was Seawaddle.
Mm-hmm. Seawaddle was cool. I wish it was a bit better, but yeah, it was very much like...
I like it.
I've learned...
A cool concept and a cool, like, kit. It's just grass bug is a type.
So, what I've realized is that, like, when I first played Gen 5, I didn't like it very much. And then the more I go back and play it, the more I'm really liking it.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I like the whole line. I'm just a fan of the whole line.
For Gen 5, it's just like... I said this before on the podcast, but, like... The first, like, Black and White, terrible. Black and White 2 are good, and that's what saved the entire, like, Gen 5 itself, was the second game,
I'm
being
hearing
a
you're
sequel,
cutting in
essentially,
and out
too,
in
and
my
just
line.
kind of, like...
I think at the time, I think
more.
nowadays, like, Gen 5, like, as a standalone is okay, in the context of the greater Pokemon
nowadays,
franchise.
Probably, yeah. Like, nowadays it's fine, but at the time it was just, like, bad.
In the context of the greater Pokemon franchise, I think it's fine. I think it's a very good game. But I think at the time it was just not what anybody wanted. And so I think it just fell pretty flat.
Yeah. So TCG Pocket previews dropped. You could have 2 copies of a card per deck, which is interesting. Going first doesn't let you play or draw or attach an energy, but you can play a supporter. That's also odd. New Zealand apparently gets early access this week.
Oh, it's very clear it's a different game, like than.
Oh, I get it, but it's just so weird.
Yes, it is very different.
It's very different.
They're very different.
This is just like meant to be an onboarding tool. I think they're trying to essentially make Duel Links.
They are. The issue, though, is that they're make Duel Links. I am very much for something like that, but they are changing mechanics so much that you're onboarding people in a way that does not correlate. Because Duel Links was like basic Yu-Gi-Oh! With less zones, which is fine, and then they slowly expanded it to like, you're dealing with now current mechanics, but 3 slots.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like, you have an energy zone. The card game does not have an energy zone.
Yeah.
You cannot draw or attach an energy on your first turn, but play a supporter. That's the exact opposite of Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's concerning me.
I'm not worried about it. Like, if people want to play Pokemon the way they want to play Pokemon, I'm not going to be upset about it.
It's not going to affect us in this aspect, but I think people who play an actual local scene that have kids that pop up.
Oh, you're going to have to reteach them the rules, which is perfectly fine in my opinion.
Yeah. I can just see it getting irritating for some people, but it is just... I am more concerned that it's a completely... Like, I expected it to be a different game. We knew it was when we saw Energy Zone, but now they're changing. I just don't like that the core of a TCG game that's supposed to be kind of a side to this is that different. But
yeah.
On to the next thing,
I'm just not going to harsh someone's mellow and let them just do what they want.
That's fine.
If they're interested in playing the game and they don't understand the rules, I'm more than happy to teach it to them. All right. And be open to that. Like, especially if you're one of the people online that goes, "Hey, I really want the game to grow." And if you're unwilling to teach people how it works, I don't think you actually want the game to grow.
Correct. I can agree with that.
All right. The bunch of TCG live bugs were fixed. I don't know.
Oh, they were really bad. You could attach an Iono to a Pokemon.
Oh, the Iono thing. Yeah, I thought the Iono.
Yeah, the Iono
crashed the game. Gardevoir won the Baltimore Regional, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, Gardevoir won Baltimore.
I skimmed through it.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually look at the regional to see if there's anything interesting, and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting deck. Cool, let's see what it does. And it's just like, oh, okay.
I have a Sinistcha list if you want a fun Sinistcha list.
Actually, yes, I do.
No.
Please send.
Okay. It placed ninth in the Doom tournament.
I'm here for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like Lugia versus it was Lugia, right? It was like Lugia versus Gardevoir in the finals, I think.
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
Oh, okay.
Which is really funny.
No one's happy about it, but it's fine.
I love it.
Oh, that's it.
I'm happy about it. Go,
God.
Lugia, go.
Lugia seems kind of fun. I also
I love
what was the
Lugia.
other deck I was thinking of? Oh, Hydrapple seems fun. It's just that it's got
Hydrapple
Ogerpon
seems fun.
barrier.
See, I have the Ogerpon, so now I'm like...
I want to play Ogerpon Noivern.
Ogerpon
Oh,
Noivern
that
sounds
one?
cool,
Just
too.
yeah, I bought one of those just before, just in case it spiked or something. Like, I needed one for my own collection. So I'm like, I'll buy the full art. There we go. At least I have one.
I'm gonna probably go build that for funsies.
I love Noivern, and that was just a cool kind of... It's a control deck that progresses through the game, and that's what I want.
Yes.
I don't want to play Snorlax. Snorlax control is abysmal.
No,
That's not fun. No. I want to progress the game.
Yeah, if we had more, what's it called? I said that, if TCG was the next month, I would stream a whole bunch of it. But
yeah,
it's VGC next month.
It is VGC next month. I think TCG's December for Puckle Badge Bonanza.
Yep.
And speaking of Puckle Badge Bonanza, this month is the Johto playthrough. This week we'll also be doing we'll be ousting ogres for Munchlax and Fresh Start Mochi. So
Ew.
I guess just check the Puckle Badge Bonanza
for the side quest
section of the
For
Discord.
the side quest, yeah, because last week is the side quest.
Yep.
Okay. I have not been keeping up with it myself, so
It's so much fun, actually. It is some of the most fun I've had in the Puckle Discord server in quite a while.
Yes, I completely agree. It is so much fun to be able to do crazy dumb things with your friends again.
Yeah, it's awesome. Very much recommend. All right, so Wo-Chian's News Corner, because today's actually not a slow news week, but when it is, we have to go 10 years ago. 10 years ago this week, The Band of Thieves and 1,000 Pokemon released in Japan and never released in the US. Ash and Karina battled, and the iPad version of the hit PC simulator Pokemon Trading Card Game Online released. The hit PC sim... That's what it was referred to as on Cerebi. Fun. That's fun. Puckle's a pokey opinion. I like this one. Wally with Gardevoir or Wally with Gallade? Gallade.
Ooh,
Done.
I think
the OST
Gallade.
is so much more of a
Yeah,
banger.
Gallade's better, right? Like, Gallade's just the better choice.
Like, also that Wally theme, that entire fight of the newer Wally is just so much better.
Well, you have to think, so many people have Gardevoir and are known for Gardevoir. No one's known for Gallade.
Yes. No, you have a couple Gardevoir people, and I think Gallade is great, and I think Wally having Gallade, especially with Mega Gallade being introduced in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, was just chef's kiss.
I agree.
Yeah, it is the better choice. 1000%. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Do not want my Wally any other way. That was one of probably the fastest Puckle's Pokey opinions. But with that, we're going to go ahead and move things on to Puckle's Pokey Quiz, where we're going to quiz your co-host on their insane Pokemon knowledge.
Well, hi, and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz our co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Mark from the Dunsparce Gang, here to explain the rules. Our fabulous co-hosts will work as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that fans have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The host can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct and do not use the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
Welcome to Puckle's Pokey Quiz. Thank you for that introduction. We're going to jump right on into it. Our first question is going to come to you from, we're going to say from Batista. Which Pokeclone, official ones only, Marill and Mimikyu don't count, is the only one unable to learn the move Nuzzle?
Oh, okay. So what Pikachu alike is learning?
Pikachu every gen's got one, right?
Okay. So I know Dedenne can. I know
Emolga can.
Pachirisu can.
Yep.
So that's what
is
5.
it Plusle and Minun?
I feel like they can. I feel like they can learn Nuzzle. But we can keep them in the back pocket.
Oh,
Gen 2 with
Pawmot can, right? Or Pawmo, Pawmi,
Pawmot. I think they can.
I'm pretty sure that Togedemaru can. I think they all...
One of them can't. This is a fact.
This is a fact?
Yeah, one of them cannot learn.
What about Morpeko? Can Morpeko nuzzle?
I don't know. I was trying to think. So 1, 2 is obviously good. 3 is questionable at the moment, I would say.
4 is Patrice, we know we can.
5 is the Mogo, we know we can. 6 Dedenne.
Yeah. Togedemaru can, I know that.
And that's 7. 8 is Morpeko, 9 is Pawmot. Okay.
So
and this is another Pikachu clone we just missed somehow?
Well, 2 is Pichu.
2 is Pichu, but Pichu definitely can.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I
think it's Morpeko.
I want to say it's Morpeko, or it's a weird case of where, one, like, Plusle can and Minun can't, or something like that, which I don't...
really dumb, and I'm hoping that's not the case.
It's either Morpeko or that, and I don't know, I couldn't tell you which one it is and which one it isn't. So I'd rather just go with Morpeko.
Yeah, let's just go Morpeko and hope for the best.
Morpeko is correct.
Yes.
You guys are 1 for 1 on this. All right. We are going to go to this next one from Tubins. Which starter Pokemon line can learn Fellstinger by breeding? There's a Pokemon starter line that can learn Fellstinger by breeding.
Stinger. I gotta think of all the Pokemon that can sting of the fells. My mind immediately goes to Samurott.
Samurrott's the thing I think of. I'm also thinking of, like, Decidueye, but I don't think Decidueye would actually learn it by breeding. I'm just thinking of, like, the archery aspect of it, but I don't think it's actually right there. I feel like I would have seen it sometime, like, years ago.
The Japanese name, I don't think this will help you, is Finishing Stinger. That's something. That's actually a better name.
Ooh. Okay. Finishing Stinger. Let's see. Let me go through the generations. I don't think it's any Gen 1.
I don't think it's Gen 1.
I don't think it's Gen 2. Gen 3, potentially Sceptile comes to my mind.
Potentially Sceptile, yeah.
Gen 4, I not really.
No.
Gen 5, I said maybe Samurott.
Samurott I can see. I can't see Sceptile or Superior.
No, Gen 6 I don't see it. I don't see anyone Greninja. It wouldn't surprise me if Greninja got it.
I don't think Greninja does. I could see a weird case of where Chespin gets it because it's spiky.
That's possible. Gen 7, I don't see any of them getting it. Gen 8 would Sobble or Inteleon get it?
Oh, Inteleon gets it, I think. Oh my, why am I thinking it's...
It could be that, and then Gen 9, I don't think it's any of them.
I have a weird feeling it's Inteleon. Because I thought it got some bug-type move that wasn't like...
You're right, I'm like... Oh, I'm...
And it makes sense with a sniper.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can go with it. I have faith in... I think it's that or Chespin.
I think so, too. So I'm more leaning towards Inteleon, though. Just because I think that feels... I remember seeing something like that there.
Are we going with Sobble?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or that Sobble line.
That is correct. You do have to chain breed through Surskit or Mirror Orbit in a picnic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was one of those things I remember has 4 egg moves and Fellstinger. I was like, why do they have Fellstinger? Or something like that.
Why not, I guess. I don't know.
It makes sense
why
for
not as a
thematic.
Pokemon?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go ahead. This next question is your Pokedex entry question. As always, we are going to get this one from Wave Tsunami. Its Pokemon Violet entry reads, it can send a trailer flying with a tackle. It's numb to pain, so even violent collisions don't phase it. Who's that Pokemon?
Wooloo. No, Dubwool. It's my immediate thought now.
This is from Pokemon Violet.
I have no idea. There's not enough there for me to even have a
Pokemon Violet.
Thought.
Oh, Violet. Oh my god. That's our 9th generation.
Yeah.
Can you repeat it one more time? It's tackle. It has to be one of the Tauroses.
It can send a trailer flying with a tackle. It's numb to pain, so even violent collisions don't phase it.
I think it's
pain
Tauros.
Is the thing. It could be, yeah, because always maybe it's trying to lean on the always angry, but like, yeah, I don't know. I legitimately have no idea, just because it's just not enough for me to think.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing there to just.
I would say
that could be like any mon essentially, really.
Yep, it could really.
But like Tauros seems fine to me. I don't really.
We'll start there and go somewhere else.
Tauros is unfortunately incorrect. Your next entry comes to you from Pokemon X. It relies on its sturdy shell to deflect predators' attacks. It counterattacks with its sharp quills.
Oh, the Chestnut? Is that what it would be? Or like Quilladin or something? I don't.
I guess Chespin. I mean, not what's the final form?
Chestnut. Yeah, because quills and shell.
That's the only thing that comes to my mind.
The bio entry makes no sense with it, but I don't know what else really. I can't think of shell and quill and think of anything else but Chestnut, especially for X.
Let's do Chestnut. I got nothing else.
Chestnut, I'll give it to you. It is Quilladin, but it's the same line.
So.
Yeah, same. Okay.
Yeah, Quilladin apparently sends trailers flying with a tackle.
Yeah.
All right, that is 3 for 3. This next question, we can go ahead and give you a multiple answer question here. There are 4 answers. The way this is going to work is you'll get 1 point for 1, 2 points for 2, and 3 points for all 4. So we're going to get this. This is from Umbreon 1080. What 4 moves cause crash damage if they miss?
Okay, so you have jump kick, high jump kick. Those are the first 2 I can think of.
Yeah.
You lock those in? You do have to lock them in.
Yes.
3 strikes.
We'll lock those 2 in.
Those are correct. Those are correct so far.
Gosh, I.
If you miss, you take damage. I'm trying to think.
Supercell Slam.
Are you locking that in?
I'm locking that in.
That is 3. You're still at 2 points. There's one more move.
Is it a signature move, or am I just not thinking?
I think it's a signature move.
Oh
God, what is this? I'm trying to think through the fighting type moves.
Is it fighting type though?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
I think it is. Like,
I'm just trying to remember, and I'm like, what stuff used like those types of moves before? I'm trying to remember what triggered that, and I'm like, I can't.
I think you're right, though. I think it's a signature move of somebody.
If you're like a signature move, because if it wasn't very, if it was not a signature move, it would be probably more common, and we see it a lot more. So I'm thinking it had to be something specific, had something that was just like
you do have
never
the hint
seen the light of day.
If you want it, but it's up to you.
Gen 9. Did low kicks get anything that causes it or no?
Because
right now I'm trying to think of like the other 2 were jump kick, high jump kick. I mean, is there another kicking thing that I'm missing that, you know?
I don't think it got a signature move like that.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what it learned. Like later on, I think it was like its end of like it was just like lunge and like throat chop, sucker punch is what it was like high end of its stabs were. Other than that, it was like jump kick.
We might need the hint.
Yeah, I can't think of anything right now.
Alright, let's take the hint.
The hint, this is a move introduced in Generation 9. It is fighting type. There are 4 Pokemon that can learn it.
That is so helpful.
The 4 Pokemon that can learn it are Hitmonlee, Medicham, Lilligant, Hisuian Lilligant only, and Low Kicks.
Wow. Alright, so it's a kick move.
Base power 120, accuracy 90, does half damage to the user if they miss, or half the maximum HP. And it also has a 30% chance of confusing the target.
What?
The last word in the move is kick, for sure. Yes.
Alright, so I'm back to where we started, in my mind.
Yes, just about. You were like going on the right track.
Oh fuck! It's 120 damage, really?
I can see it in my mind. I don't know what the name is.
Is it rolling kick?
No, it's not rolling kick.
No, rolling kick is like low. That's why I'm like, this is like a spinning thing, but like I don't.
Oh! It's gosh, what is it? It's a axe kick.
Oh God!
Locking it in.
Axe kick is correct. You got all 4 points or 3 points there. Does give you.
I forgot about axe kick.
You are 6 for 4. You have one more question. It is your base stat question, as always. This is from Toganik. We're gonna do this one from Prism Inc. VGC. What Pokemon who has won the Pokemon World Championship has the lowest base stat total?
Pachirisu. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I don't know. Probably. There's probably something lower that we're just not knowing of, but I am okay with Pachirisu.
Let me take a quick think in my head. And, I think it has to be Pachirisu, doesn't it?
I think so. And this is something like I can't think of anything recently that like was really low. But
did Ditto ever win?
I don't know.
Ditto ever win? I don't know.
Did Ditto ever win?
I do know.
Because it would have to be like early on. Like you have to think like World Championships, like maybe in the very beginning, but otherwise I think it's Pachirisu. Unless Raichu has less stat. No, Raichu has more.
Raichu's got enough speed to like just kind of outclass. Like its overall base is higher than Pachirisu. I'm just okay with Pachirisu.
Alright, Pachirisu it is.
Pachirisu is correct. I'm going to say technically correct. I think Mawile has been there, but it was Mega Mawile, so we're not going to count it.
Yeah, okay.
So Pachirisu with 405 took it home in 2014.
What's Mawile, though? 385?
380.
80, okay. Close enough.
380, yeah. You're very close, though. All right, well, that gives you guys 7 points. So that's going to move around all of the standings. Because Claude has been hosting shows for me and deserves the W, you know?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. You deserve the W.
I'm all in for that $25 Red Lobster gift card.
Exactly. In first place, we have Whimsicott with 29. In second place, we have Clod9 with 28. In third place, we have Seth Vilo with 27. It looks like we're going to have a play-in round, though, as of right now. I mean, there's still like another 6 episodes or something before we tally this up. It's going to be... it looks like Bocephus and R Sigma are tied for 4th with 23 points. In 6th, we have Shark with 21. In 7th, Sublime with 20. In 8th, Linian with 16. In 9th, Shamu with 13. And in 10th, Jushiro's bringing up the rear with 12. If you want more Poke Quiz, tune in next week when we do it all over again. Until then, though, guys, we will catch you on the flip-flop as we go to our topic. Hey, Thatch here. A lot of you have been asking how you can hang out with us during the week. Well, the best way to do so is come to our Discord server at puclpodcast.com. You can join our server and you can hang out with us, talk Pokemon, battle, do a bunch of cool things, join in our tournaments. So what's stopping you? Come on over, puclpodcast.com. You can jump right on in and have a good time talking with the hosts of the show, as well as the large community we've gathered over the years. So come on, let's hang out. And welcome to our topic. Our topic today is going to be the Johto region, where we are going to just talk about Johto and all of the things it brought, the loveliness that is just like the fall. If Johto was a Starbucks order, it'd be a pumpkin spice latte.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah. Tell me it's not.
Yeah.
More ways than one.
It's just a feel-good region. Like,
yeah, it is, though.
I think it, like, in my mind, it's the perfect sequel to the original Red and Blue.
I absolutely agree with you.
Like, in all ways, shapes, and forms.
I think it was one of the very few games that we have that we can go, this, like, for at that time, too, it was a very good, here's Generation 2, but also you get Generation 1.
Well, Generation 1 was meant to be, like, or Johto was meant to just be, like, more Generation 1. It's Generation 1 Part 2. Like that's what Gold and Silver were. It was Generation 1 Part 2, which is perfectly fine, especially for the time. And you can definitely feel it when you play through the game, because as I feel like a lot of people realized as we've been doing the Puckle Badge Bonanza this month, there's just a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon that show up during Johto, which was the plan. Like the big thing for a lot of it as well is they made it more difficult to evolve some of the Pokemon into their final forms, especially the ones that have split evolutions, to kind of force you to try the new ones out. I think the exception is kind of Slowpoke.
Well, like, you have Slowpoke and Politoed that are like that, but like, I don't know, I think they added a lot of fun little aspects to it that were like hidden behind other things. So it's like I think the bug catching contest. They introduced a brand new stone. All of the dailies in general were just very good. Oh, well, that and added time as well. But like, I think to like the bug catching contest, where it's, all right, cool. This is an event that only happens on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays or Saturdays, and that's it. Like, you have 3 chances in a week to do it. Like, I remember saving my game, trying to run through it, and be like, all right, cool. Let me try and see if I can catch the right Pokemon that I want so I can win. And it was so incredibly difficult to beat in like the early games.
It's still difficult to beat in the early games. Somebody did somebody kind of figured it out and gamed it, by the way. There's a one particular trainer named Nick that is like the trainers that you compete against in the bug catching contest are random. This is such like nonsense trivia. And there's one trainer named Nick who wins it. If he's there, he wins it like 90% of the time. So what you do is you just go to look to see if Nick is one of your competitors. And then if he is, you just reset. And then if you catch a Scyther, you win, essentially. But that's how you can game it now. But back then, I didn't know this.
It's Cool Trainer Nick, and what's it? I think I was pulling up what he can catch.
You don't know the stuff back in the day. You didn't have all the resources you have now too, and stuff like that. Like, the best thing you had was the like Prima guide or whatever, or the official guide, and that was about it. And that didn't have this type of info in it. You know, it was very much like, where's this? Here's this. I do too, to a degree.
I don't think they've made one I don't think they made one for Scarlet and Violet.
I don't think they did either.
No, I don't think they did.
I think the last one they did was Gen 7. That's the last guidebook I can think of. To be fair, like, I think that Gen 7 and
there might be something for like Gen 8, but it was very much like a companion thing. It was not an actual guide.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think you really need a guide with how much they handhold in a lot of the games, but
you generally don't know. And a lot of stuff is just like, there's not many items that are like, you have to go here and pick this up to get this item. It's never like that. It's just like, oh, just go check the shops.
As even in Scarlet and Violet, like a lot of the most of the evolution items are just in like one spot now. Like you go to one store. I do miss the guidebooks. Guidebooks are one of my favorite things, actually.
I still have my Gold and Silver and Crystal guidebook.
I don't know if I have a Gold, Silver, Crystal guidebook.
Oh, I've got all of mine. Mine's tattered.
I definitely do. Yeah, mine's tattered too, but I still have it.
I have a Red, Blue, Yellow guidebook, and I have the Ruby, Sapphire guidebook. I think and I bought the
I have up through Diamond and Pearl. I know that.
The one that was a bummer that I bought was I bought the X and Y guidebook.
Oh,
because it was a more as like a collection piece than a use case thing. Because it was hardback. It's hardcover. The problem is it's like really disappointing because it doesn't actually cover most of the game.
No, it's like a Pokedex essentially.
Yeah, they did a Pokedex later that like contained the rest of the information.
Oh yeah, because it was nothing post game. It was like all like main story, and then it was like,
and it just ends.
It wasn't even like map locations and stuff like that. It was just like, it wasn't really a good guide.
I miss guidebooks.
I know, Sun and Moon, they made the collector edition guide, and I think that's what I have, actually. I think I got the original, and I think I found the collector's edition at a Barnes & Noble for like $20 on clearance, and I picked it up. Something like that.
But back to Johto.
I'm going to try to go find a Gold and Silver guidebook now, so...
So on the other side of the bug catching contest, there is... I love how when they remade the games, they added in the Pokathlon, which solved, I think, one of the biggest issues in the first half of Johto, being how to get evolution stones. Because the only way to get evolution stones in the original game was, alright, you have to battle certain trainers, get their phone number, and wait for them to tell you they found one.
No, that is true. I didn't even know about that until we did the Puckle Badge Bonanza. to be fair. And honestly, for the record, I don't think it's that bad if you know about that in gold and silver and crystal, because one, you can only... I don't think it's that bad. Let me explain.
Okay.
If you play gold and silver like I think they're intended and you don't speedrun it, I don't think it's bad. Like the way I've been playing Pokemon Crystal for the Puckle Badge Bonanza is I play like every day I'll play for like a half hour, which is enough to get like one phone call. There's a chance they get it, there's a chance they don't. And if you have all 4 and those are the only 4 numbers you have in terms of trainers, like one of them will call you because there's like a phone proc every hour or so. They're forced to call you. Sure, they might be like, let's rematch, or hey, I battled a Tangela today.
It was so cool. I almost won too.
It might be one of those, but I don't know. I found myself like just playing this way. I have just like a healthy amount of the stones because they'll just be like, hey, I have something. And I'm like, okay, be right there. I'm coming for you. I'm going to come and grab that stone. So I have like a healthy supply because of that, which I really like. But I can completely understand being frustrated by it if you want to like play it faster than I am.
See, my problem with Gen 2 is never that. Like, I've tried replaying it. I get about like an hour in, and then I realize, cool, I am like under leveled by 10 levels, and I need to spend like 20 minutes to do, not even 20 minutes, but like 3 hours to get up to level, you know? And I just, that turns me off every single time.
Most of the time you don't need to get, if you play Gen 2, and I don't want to interrupt you, Claude, I know you want to say something. But like stat XP is like huge in Gen 2. And so like actually you can be underleveled, like severely underleveled, but your stats will be on par with a lot of the trainers.
Badge boost. Yeah, badge boost plays a huge way into this, and I like how all the gyms don't match with Gen 1. Like every gym is a different type than Generation 1. Like, I mean, you can make an argument that, like, there's the pre-gym in Sabrina that's fighting, and then there's Chuck, but it's not a gym.
I wouldn't put it that way.
No.
In like, my headcanon...
I like how there's... I like how there's that, and then, like, you know, half of the Elite Four is the same.
No, I do love the callback. I love the Elite Four being, like, the same Elite Four that you battled in Gen 1. Like, that's the idea, at least. And they just have updated membership.
Which I think is so cool, the fact that, Koga went from being a gym leader in Gen 1 to now an Elite Four member. I love that thing. Like,
that's some of the best world building.
The thing I like about the Pokemon games, yeah, when they build on the world and they repeat stuff like this. This was really good. That's why I like Black and White 2, when I said earlier, because like, it built on what was there and it made it better, you know?
Yes.
I wish we would get this more in games where we get this like almost sequel-esque, or like, here's a couple years in the future.
Sequels are the best, or just going back to a region is the best because you get to see how it evolved. I absolutely agree.
What was cool about PLA 2 was like, we're kind of getting like a prequel, which was cool. You can kind of like, you can do deep dive, not even deep dive, but you can kind of go, that's this person. You can connect with these, and it's just not like, alright, we're adding like 20 characters to a cast that all have, you're not going to remember, and like. I
absolutely agree with you that I kind of wish they would lean on that a little bit more. I wish they would lean on their existing property more often than just making new property. Like for Pokemon, that's fine. Like I think PLA was a good example of how to do that. Of like, hey, here's an old region, but here's some new Pokemon, because the new Pokemon are what sell, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah.
And
I think they could absolutely just like make new Pokemon and just let us go back to an old region. I think that's completely reasonable.
Well, and you have to think about, you know, Gold, Silver, Crystal to Fire Red, Leaf Green. Like, they expanded on, like, the first time you go through the Elite Four, the whole, like, post-game of Leaf Green, Fire Red, they expand on Lorelei, you know, trying to help out and stop Team Rocket. Which explains why when you visit, you know, Gold, Silver, you know, which is canonically several years in the future, she's not an Elite Four member anymore. It's like, we can see that she had more to her story and she did something else. Like, it also points out that, like, your rival from the game was like, after you beat him, didn't want to be the champion anymore, and Lance took over.
Yeah.
Like, I love how there's those little callbacks to that, and, like, there's, like, all the little things there with...
I wish we got more about Red, and why he wanted to go stand on Mount Silver. I wish we got a little bit more about that, but...
Well, and I love the fact that they put a final boss in the game.
It would be kind of cool if they did, like, calls. Like, you just see this guy walking off. Yeah, it was a final boss. It was meant to be like US before, or like Ash or whatever. But it would have been cool to kind of see him pop up kind of like a rival, but not fight him. You see this guy just standing somewhere and he just walks off screen. And then you eventually see, it would have been cool to have like hints at something like that.
Actually, that's a good improvement. That's actually a really good suggestion.
Because you're like, here's this guy you see.
Like, I almost want him to be like Scott was in Emerald, where you see him and he like shows up at random moments. It's like, oh, okay. And then he's like, you know what? You're worthy of challenging me now. Let's fight. And then you get to battle.
Yeah, just like, or like he would be the secret final boss after getting like all the badges or whatever, the Frontier Brain badges, they can go, oh, hey, you got them all. Let's fight.
Exactly. Like, there's a lot there, and like, I like how this is a different Team Rocket. It's not the Giovanni's Team Rocket, because Giovanni is gone, but like, you have all of the, they're trying to rebuild, and I like that. And
I love that they're in denial. I love that they're in denial, trying to get him back. I think that's hilarious. I do appreciate the building off of that they did in Heart Gold Soul Silver more so than they did in Gold and Silver, because in Gold and Silver they're just unnamed admins and they give them names at least. To be fair, the Team Rocket part in Gold and Silver, I think about it like I think about it a little bit in terms of just like, oh yeah, I feel like it's a bigger segment of the game every time I look back at it than it actually is, because it's just like this one little blurb that happens, which is fine, and I like that. It's just like a slight nod and a callback to like, yeah, Team Rocket exists, but the focus is on you just going on your adventure. I do miss that a little bit. I do think Scarlet and Violet kind of fixed it. I mentioned this last week. I do miss when like the focus was on you going on an adventure and not you trying to end like a world-ending plot. Scarlet and Violet did a good job fixing that, in my opinion. There's just like a cool mystery at the end for you to solve. I
think I really liked how they brought the lore into these games more than they brought it into others. Because when you think of Johto, your mind, like, the first place that pops into my mind is Ekritik City.
Absolutely.
Everything that goes around with the Tin Tower and Ho-Oh. Because that was the main focus of, it's Ho-Oh and Lugia and all of that. And then the next spot that pops into my head is, the Ilex Forest and the GS Ball with Celebi. And like, it was a like natural way of introducing all the different legends into the game. And it all like stemmed from like one central area.
Ekritik is like geographically the center of the region. The region is also laid out in a very cool way because they do want you to do the dailies.
Well, and they don't force you to go in a certain order. Again, like,
that's true. That is true. They do not. They have a suggested order, but they do not force you to go in it. That is for sure.
Because I think it's going. Gyms 1 through 4 are pretty much set, but 5, 6, 7 you can do in any order. Like, the amount of times I've played through the game, gone through, and then went and grabbed Red Gyarados, and then went and used that as my Surf Bond to go battle Chuck and Jasmine.
Yeah, I completely understand and agree.
It is nice to have that kind of variance. Kind of like, I enjoy the way we had it in SVT. You can kind of do what you want to. Like, but that was much more of like a whole different level of do what you want.
And then, as you mentioned, we got the dailies. Like, they added in time.
I love dailies. The dailies are my favorite in Pokemon Gold and Silver. I think the dailies in Pokemon Gold and Silver are what made me like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, well, it's that with the time as well, because like I love how certain Pokemon only appear at certain times of the day. That made it be like, oh, I need to wake up early this morning so I can catch my ladybug.
Yeah, exact. I had that exact thing happen. Yes.
And granted, I did this a lot more in Gen 4, where it was with the honey. To be like, all right, cool. Let me check all my Honeymons before school, put honey back on the trees, and then go to school, come back. All right, check the Honeymons again, and then it was something I would do like a couple of times a day to try and get Munchlax, or in my case, a female Combi.
They have some like really cool dailies too. This is just the Gen 2 ones, not including like the Gen 4 stuff, because they added a few more. Actually, a lot more in Heart Gold and Silver. But I mean, you have swarms, which exist. That's fine.
I think swarms were in the game before, weren't they?
No, swarms were not in Gen 1. They were in Gen 2.
I meant like in Gold, Silver, Crystal, weren't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There is the Gradio Tower lottery that happened all the time. The Goldenrod Underground, there were like a bunch of people that would show up. The only ones that matter were the hairdressers. Puck Aging Contest. The SS Aqua only ran on Wednesday and Sunday from Vermilion to Olivine, and Monday and Friday from Olivine to Vermilion, which is kind of cute. I do like that you could redo essentially the SSN as many times as you wanted. Let's see. And then there you could rematch your rival, obviously, at the beginning, on Monday and Wednesday after you beat the Elite Four.
That's at the Elite Four, right?
Yeah, that's at the Elite Four. He shows up again, which is fun. I love that he has Sneasel. And then you can catch Lapras on Fridays in the cave. I always thought that was cool. I remember learning about this and being like, oh man, I have to go do this.
And you can do it early on, too.
Yeah, it's level 20 Lapras. Like, you can catch it pretty early on.
Once you get Surf from Ekrotik, you can, like I said, the game opens up at that point.
Oh, yeah. At Ekrotik, the game significantly opens up.
Although, like, one of my biggest downsides is the amount of whiny, upset gym leaders in this game. Granted, there's only 2. But, like, Whitney is upset.
That's more than one.
Which is still too many. You're a gym leader. Like, come on. Like, it's Whitney being like, I'm upset you beat me because she's a kid. And then you go back and then Claire, who just doesn't want to recognize you for beating her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the most, like, spoiled brat, like, energy. And I'm like, this is awful. It's like, I don't want to have to go to the Dragon's Den to prove that I'm a better trainer when I just beat you. That's, like, okay. It's one of those things like that always struck me as weird. I'm like, why do they do this not once but twice? And I think there's other ways to go about it where it's like, I can see Claire being like, all right, you're not worthy enough to fight me until you pass this test. And I'm like, oh, okay. Not I just beat you.
It was, yeah, if they did it in the reverse order, it would have been much more understandable, but it was like, the order's like,
The last gym leader should not do that. I absolutely agree.
And, you know, there's a lot of fun little callbacks throughout the games. Like, I love how they introduced Jasmine, who is my favorite gym leader.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, this is Koga's daughter. It's like, what? Where did you come from? When did this happen? Like, you hear nothing about these types of, like, relationships between characters, and suddenly it's, oh, my daughter's now the new gym leader in Kanto.
That's one of the coolest things about, like, Fire Red and Leaf Green, actually, last year with the fame checker.
Yeah.
I wish we would have kept that going in remakes where the fame checker existed, because I just love Pokemon lore. I love when they give it to us. Feed it to me.
Exactly.
Feed it to me.
Pokemon lore is good. It's just like, it's a little sad we don't get it as often as we want. Like, we get little tidbits and stuff.
I think that's what makes it sweeter, to be fair, but I do want more. I do agree with you.
The lore we get now is, like, within the region, kinda. Which was really cool with Scarlet and Violet, like, the whole paradox thing. Like, what is this? And it's just like, oh, okay. Cool. And that, it's like, that's what I really enjoy about, like, the game. Like, I enjoy when there's, like, a lot of lore or something, like, kind of think your teeth into or something. Just go, oh, you can kind of theorize and stuff and just start thinking, go like, oh, what's this for? Why is this here? They could definitely take advantage of it, but they just don't really, which is, it is what it is. It's just, I wish it was more.
And there's a good balance between giving us too much and giving us enough. Because, like, in some of the later games, they just force it at you. And really, like, early on in the beginning. So you can't do anything else, and you're just forced to sit through, like, an hour of cutscenes to understand what's going on in all these little, like, storylines. And I'm like, I don't want that now. I want it, like, naturally integrated in the game.
Yeah, they don't need to spoon feed it to you or shovel it into you, like, in the beginning of the game. I wish it was like, maybe here's, like, a random little tidbit of something, you know, on the first route, but, like, you don't need to, like, I don't want an hour intro like Scarlet and Violet, really, because that's just, like, the worst thing. Or
tease it and, you know, have it, you know, us come back to it later. Make me want to go search out what's going on here. Like, I think, like, what makes Johto so appealing is that, you know, when you go back to it for Heart Gold, Soul Silver, it's different and it's bigger and it's better. Like, they improved on all the little things. They're like, oh, we didn't do this. Let's go ahead and add this in. Like, there's like 3 or 4 more routes in base Johto just because of the Safari Zone that they added in. And I love the Safari Zone design that they had there.
The Safari Zone in Heart Gold, Soul Silver is really cool. You are correct, yeah.
It's like, oh, we have this whole other thing we're going to throw into to give you more Pokemon. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, that adds more to the game. You know, that in my mind is how a remake should be done. It's not a pure one-for-one copy, but all right, let's take the game and just make it better. You know, in small little ways. Whether that's updating teams, upgrading Pokemon.
I agree with that. I think like BDSP just flopped because it was more of a remaster than a remake.
It was, yeah. It wasn't a remake. It was besides the Underground. The Underground was the best part of it, and that's because that's what was new.
The Underground, they did update they did update gym leader teams as well, though. They did do that.
the remasters a few tweaks and stuff and let things be more accessible, but really what it was fixing the, I don't want to call it really ecosystem, but the best thing I could think of, but like, the Switch ecosystem of obtainable Pokemon. So like, it just filled out the entire Gens 1 through 4, like everything except for like Celebi.
Yeah, it did that, and it also cleaned up, it definitely did that, which I appreciate, and I don't know, it brought Gen 4 to the Switch, and I think that's how they're going to have to do Gen 4 and Gen 5 and Gen 6 to bring it to the Switch properly.
I would be honestly okay with getting, I don't know if I'd pay $60 for it, but I would be probably willing. BDSP was 60, right? I'm trying to remember if that was correct.
I think it was 40. I thought it was 40.
No, it was 60. It was 60.
Okay, ew.
Like, cause I'd be willing to pay, like, probably 50 at maximum for, like, other remasters in a similar vein of having access to the entire, almost like most of the region of Pokemon to do a playthrough with, kind of. Like, I want to go through Gen 5 again, but I want to use things from, like, Gen 3. That sounds kind of fun, you know? I'd be and like, fixing that type of thing, like, here, we're gonna feed you all the Gen 1 through 5 Pokemon on this game. You can get them all fairly easily, you'll get Legends later on. It's like, that, I'd be okay with that. I don't know if I'd like it, like, every year, but...
I think it's just the way that they're gonna have to, like, I think what they're gonna do, like, I wouldn't be surprised, next year's not the 30th anniversary, but the 2026 is. I wouldn't be surprised if in 2026, when we have the next version of the Switch or whatever it is, they give us the Switch Online, and they're just like, on Switch Online, you can now play Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and blah, blah, blah. And they get us, like, Gens 1 through 3 on that.
I can see them going all the way to Gen 6. Just give us all Gen 1 through 6, or make a full collection.
No, they won't do it. They won't do it all at once.
They won't do it at once, and two, I don't think you realize, like, how awkward it is to play DS games on the Switch. Yeah, I don't think you do.
I don't. It's that simple.
You can't have two screens on it, really.
They are awkward. I mean, you couldn't do that right now anyway. The only DS games that are on the Switch are the ones that they remastered, right? Like BDSP, they remastered it so that you could play Diamond and Pearl on a single screen. I think they should, honestly, I'm kind of bummed they're not going to make like a Heart Gold Soul Silver like remaster in that vein. I would have loved that, actually. I would love a Heart Gold Soul Silver exactly like BDSP. Like, I would buy that in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, that's because Heart Gold Soul Silver is a good enough game to play on your own, and if you update the few pieces of the game that need to be updated, like levels, it's just like the level caps, and you add more Pokemon, you're fine.
I would be down to go through it again if just the EXP issues were fixed, you know, and just that level stuff. Because again, Heart Gold Soul Silver, I don't think it has the badge boost stuff, does it?
Heart Gold Soul Silver does not.
So you still face that same issue there too. That's like my biggest gripe with the game is the levels. It's just like, because it's just a slog, and I'm like, I don't...
Oh, well, they have fixed experience since Gen 4 as well. If you give modern experience, I think it would be a much better experience in general.
Yeah, because when I last played through it, it was on Heart Gold Soul Silver, and I ran into the EXP problem, and I'm just like, cool, I'm stuck here, and I have to grind for like 2 hours just to like...
Yeah, it's a huge problem on Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Grind 2 more hours in the future, and that's kind of where I'm like at. I'm like, I want to play through the games and stuff, but it's just like, man, when I have to spend half the actual game time, if not more than half, just leveling up, not really enjoyable.
Well, it's either that and like, you know, people have been asking for years on, make a harder mode of the game, and I'm like, all right, like...
Yeah, challenging.
In my mind, I'm like, the easiest solution they can do to fix like 90% of this, just to up the levels. Like, have an option to be like, alright, and all the levels are now, all the Pokemon stay the same, you can keep the exact same movesets and just make their levels higher. And suddenly it becomes a harder game. Or just redesign new gyms.
There's not much, you don't have to do much to make a team harder. Like, you level them up, you maybe give something an evolution that is like on the verge, you maybe give them just a slightly stronger move that they can't learn at that level, and you're good.
There's a lot of ways to do it.
It's like, I had Water Gun. Give it Bubble Beam or something, or give it like Water Pulse, you know, give it that extra oomph.
There's a lot of simple things they could do to make things a little more difficult, and I don't know why they don't. Anything else on Johto? Do we want to talk on Kanto at all?
I think Kanto is cool to include, but it has the whole same lake level thing. The wild Pokemon are like original level, if not lower, and
I mean, yeah, they're like they were.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you know, you didn't need to do that. It makes sense, but it also is like, come on.
I mean, the only other things that I'd want to talk about are, like, you have the Thief, that, steals the machine part that you have to go collect from...
The Thief, yeah. The Thief is the only thing of Team Rocket I remember.
That's cool, and then when you go to Cinnabar Island, it's gone.
Yeah, because the volcano erupted. Isn't that awesome?
Exactly. I'm like, that's a cool, time has passed. We can now clearly see time has passed.
No, they did a really good job. They did a really good job of being like, time has passed in that game. In Gen 2, like Gen 2 in general, like they're just like, yeah, time has passed. And this makes it such a big bummer that they don't do that ever anymore. in terms of just like, hey, let's revisit a region. I am really happy, like PLA, great job of that. I really want to go back to a region. Like somebody could sell me on a Pokemon game where they're just like, where it's essentially like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet 2 or Pokemon Black and White 3. Like I could be sold on this super easily. I will go get the new Pokemon that are in the game. You don't even have to make that many. You just choose some bangers, right?
Or better yet, you do Pokemon Black and White 1.5, which lets you play both Black and White 1 and 2 in one game.
I think they're going to have to do something like that when they do the remakes, because I don't know how you remake Gen 5 properly without the sequel.
You could do a kind of like, you know what you do? You do it like a Delta episode. You do it at the end of the game,
You're going to have to do a thing where you at least unlock that extra part of the region, right? Like, you're going to at least have to do that.
Well, because here's what I'm thinking. What you could do is Gen 5 and specific. Like, so end of game, there's a thing of like, hey, I need some help with something, whatever. Okay, cool. You just mess with time travel. Like, that's the best way to do it. You just go into a portal, like, ends up throwing you into a portal or something. You go to the future. You do the whole thing of Black White 2. And then after that, you have an option to kind of go back and forth. So you can still go back to Gen 1, like the original Black and White, but then also go back to the future Black and White too.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't think it's perfect, but I don't see how you shunt yourself years into the future to deal with that plot line without something.
I think you just make the post game going to like the other two gyms, honestly.
I guess, but then you're also not really handling the entirety of what Black and White 2 was.
It was years later, right? Like 3 years later, 5 years later?
It was like 2 or 3 years later or something like that.
That's the thing, is I think you either have to make them separate or you do just this, only do one.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but maybe you could fight the gym leader then like as random trainers instead of gym leaders. That would be what you could do in post game, but like...
Well, I mean, because they had like the world tournament, which was the coolest thing. Like, I thought that was super fun, super cool. I like a lot of the designs and stuff, but...
I was kind of bummed. I was kind of bummed when they didn't do that for like the tournament they added with Crown Tundra. I was kind of hoping for that. Like, hey, let's jump in some like old trainers, like some old characters. Like, oh man, I want to see Lance again. Like that'd be sweet. Like anyone, give me anything, Game Freak. I just want to see the old people again.
Like that was the best part of the Black and this Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon was the fighting all the villains.
Yes, that was super cool. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. All right. Well, I'm going to cut us off because we're just going to go on about remakes.
Yeah, we've gone through everything, but that's what happens with Johto. You can't talk Johto without talking about other regions because it's like the birthplace of a lot of it.
That's what it is. That is what it is, right? Yeah, absolutely.
It's the first thing that went like, hey, go back.
Well, that and you think of all the Pokemon they added in Gen 2, how many of them got additional evolutions or, special things later on?
In the mailbag next week, let us know your experience with Gold and Silver, your thoughts. Send those in at puclpodcast@gmail.com. Perfect for anybody with the Puckle Badge Bonanza to do. So with that, guys, we are going to jump on over to our Pokemon of the episode. We will catch you all on the flip-flop.
Poke of the episode.
Welcome to our Pokemon of the episode. Our Pokemon of the episode this week is National Dex number 182, Blossom, the flower Pokemon.
Its Alpha Sapphire Pokedex entry states, a Blossom grows flowers more beautifully if it has evolved from a smelly gloom. The more stinky, the better. At night, this Pokemon closes its petals and goes to sleep.
Blossom.
I love how that's like an unconscious, like a canon thing where the stinkier the gloom, the better the Blossom and Vileplume you get.
Smellier, the better. That's all I think of. Just
that's funny.
That carrot thing or something like that.
Yeah.
That's all I think of.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. whenever I look at the sprites for Pokemon that existed pre Gen 3, like on Bulbapedia, they'll have like the shiny sprites from Gold, Silver, and Crystal, which are just better most of the time than like their current shinies. Like Shiny Blossom in Gen 2 is better than Shiny Blossom anywhere else. So
correct.
Well, to be fair, that was like the art they used was like the blue body instead of the green.
Yeah. Yep.
I like it because they made it Vileplume colors.
Blue.
They made it Vileplume colors, which is awesome.
But that's what like the Sugimori art was, with it being Vileplume colors, like the original art.
Oh, really?
It wasn't. Yeah. Then let me look. In game it was green, but it was like the original art, like for stuff with it being like blue, like oddish blue with like the red flowers.
I think like probably like the super early art was. I think because it was looking at it at least.
The gold and silver artwork, its body is blue instead of the green.
I need to look at this. I need to find this.
It's at Bulbapedia trivia. That's what I'm looking at.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm grabbing it here. It's like
I was looking for the picture.
There's a picture down there. Yeah.
Okay.
I can post it in our
I see it. I see where it is. Yeah. I see it. Yeah. To be fair, a lot of Sugimori artwork. This is like one of the rare instances where Sugimori artwork changed or didn't change how the Pokemon appeared. Like if you look at a lot of sprites versus the Sugimori artwork early on, the Sugimori artwork is what was adopted.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was just better.
Most of the time it was. Like Coughing and Wheezing, like look at those guys from Gen 1.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look like that anymore. Look at Pidgey in Gen 1. It doesn't look like that anymore.
Also true.
Like Gen 1 Pidgey, oh, what was that? It's just a bird.
It was just a bird. A burb.
The existence of Blossom though makes me upset at like the lack of something equivalent for Bellsprout.
No, we're fine.
I would have loved like Weepinbell Sunstone evolution.
I'm glad that Oddish got it because Oddish was better.
I do think Blossom is like a really good Pokemon design. I really do like it.
Yeah. We'll get a regional Bellsprout or something, or a regional Weeping Bell.
I think we should. Yeah, I think Bellsprout is a cool Pokemon. And does deserve it. Like, I would love either a regional or a split evolution line. I would love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Only 4 Pokemon use it. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize only 4 Pokemon used the Sunstone.
Only 4? I think it's more than 4.
No, it's only 4.
About 4. It's Flora, Blossom,
Whimsicott, and Lilligant.
5?
Yeah. It's not many.
Helioptile? To Heliolisk?
Oh, Helioptile. Why is my list not up to date then?
Is that on Bulbapedia?
I'm on Bulbapedia.
Yeah, I'm on Bulbapedia, but maybe I got caught in the Mystery Dungeon section.
No, Bulbapedia sometimes just has wrong info, so that trivia could even be wrong too, and that image is fake.
Yeah, nope, there it is. I found it. Also Helioptile. Helioptile is the only other one that I missed, though.
Oh, I could have sworn they gave it to Espeon, but that's just...
No, Espeon, the only ones they retconned were Leafeon and Glaceon in terms of stones. Because they were location based. Those were location based. I think they like kind of changed how Sylveon works too, but it's not that much different. It's
like Friendship and Fairy or something like that. Yeah. It's a bit weird.
But they definitely retconned any like region or location based evolutions to just work with stones now.
Yeah. I think there might be not a main game, but like a side game that does Sunstone for like Espeon and Moonstone.
Yeah, there's definitely some other things that do it.
Like, not the core line is still the
the only time I can think of when you could evolve Eevee into Espeon and Umbreon with an item is XD Gale of Darkness.
However, in Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, you need to get 3 Sunstone symbols to evolve your Gloom into Blossom.
That's I appreciate that trivia. I appreciate that trivia. No, oh my gosh, the Pokemon Stadium 2 Dex entry. Plentiful in the tropics. When it dances, its petals rub together and make a pleasant ringing sound. That's upsetting.
I used to listen to the Pokemon Movie 2000 soundtrack, and it would just go Blossom.
Yeah, they've got it.
Blossom.
Definitely worth it.
It's a lot of just Pokemon singing, and it was like, great. That's all I want in life is just, Pokemon songs, but it's the Pokemon singing.
Remember when there was way more hype building in the anime?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember. Like, just Tracy having a Meryl way before Gold and Silver came out. The shift to Gen 2 is wild. I loved it.
The foreshadowing stuff.
Well, to be fair, I think a lot of Gen 2 Pokemon already existed at the release of Gen 1.
Oh, probably.
They just couldn't show them into the games. Like, Ho-Oh appeared in episode 1 of the anime.
Yeah. No, they probably had a lot of designs in the back, and they're just like, we're going to use a bunch of these eventually. These are the ones we're going to throw out first because we like these ones better.
Yeah, so I think that's certainly part of it. But I do remember, like, in the anime when they were in Johto, like, at least the Kecleon episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the Kecleon episode that was, like, it was a while, like, that episode happened a long time before the release of...
I really did like the concept of it back then, but I think it's different nowadays, too, where you can't really, like...
I miss the days where things would get spoiled in the anime. Or, like, they put out a new Pokemon movie, and that spoils a new Pokemon. Like,
I don't want it to spoil a Pokemon, but I want that to be, like, the release of a new Pokemon. Like, the closest thing... The closest thing we've gotten to that is, I think, like, Meltan and Go, where it just, like, randomly popped up that one day, and nobody knew what it was.
Yeah, with Meltan, I think we also I think Terrapagos kind of was. It was very much coincided, if I remember.
Yeah, they did do that on purpose in the anime, where, like, Terrapagos showed up.
Yeah.
To be fair, they haven't answered any of those questions yet either in the anime, which is a little frustrating.
I haven't watched any of it.
I'm behind a season, and I'm waiting for the next one to come out so I can binge that whole bit.
Oh, it just came out.
The new one?
Yeah, like I think the other day.
Oh, great! Now I can watch the last 2 parts that I'm missing.
You can watch like the whole first season now on Netflix.
Because I saw the first part, and then I've been waiting for part 2 and 3. I think.
Yeah, the first part was really slow, but after that, I think it picks up.
Yeah,
it picks up. But yeah, no, it was Kecleon Caper. What did this release? I guess it was like a year before the games came out, but it was still crazy to see it before the Hoenn games were released.
Yeah,
it's like how Bonsly showed up in Gen 3 games.
Yeah. Well, okay, by Gen 3 games, if you just mean Pokemon XD, then sure.
XD Gale of Darkness, then yes.
Munchlax was also there.
I know, and I love Munchlax.
Yeah, Munchlax and Bonsly. Gen 4 was also a good one where they did that, where they like showed off like a couple Pokemon beforehand. And had
That's
a really good
the
time
next plush that I need. I need a sitting cutie of a Munchlax.
They exist. You can buy that right now, I'm pretty sure.
I know, but I want to win it.
I want to win it by playing trivia.
I can't spend my own money on stuff like this. That's absurd.
That's a whole $17 down the drain.
Plus shipping, and I have to sit and wait for it? Gosh.
That's true.
Too much work.
I think if you go over $25 at Pokemon Center, I think it's free shipping.
It's 20.
Oh, 20. Okay.
See, and that's how they get you. They charge you like 17 for it, so you have to like throw something else in there.
Absolutely. You're correct.
Buy a pack for like $5. Done.
Now, granted, I'm waiting for the lights to come out, the new lamp.
Oh.
Did you see the lamp? There's a Chandelure Lampent Litwick like lamp.
That's cute.
That looks insane.
I usually wait for like the Christmas line to come out because the Christmas line's always exciting. The Halloween line this year is actually pretty banger too. I like the Halloween.
Oh, let me find it.
The Halloween thing that made it go really is the little Chandelure thing they made. It's like it's cool, but it's like it's $35 for essentially a piece of plastic.
I'm also still considering the Porygon, the full size Porygon.
Oh, the
Porygon was a random thing I forgot about, and it's cool. Yeah, it's a $500 Porygon. They just have a.
I love it because it's like a niche enough Pokemon while being Gen 1 to make full size, and I think it's a really cool full size Pokemon to have.
Yeah, I am not buying one until Wooloo eventually gets one, and then I will cry when I have to just shove $500 down to Pokemon.
Like, I think it's a really cool one to have. I'm kind of a fan.
I'm upset I didn't do it with Furret, and I should have. And I will forever.
The Porygon is cool though, but yeah, Furret, yeah.
Because I don't think they're gonna make it any more of them.
But Blossom, yeah, that's a Pokemon. It's really cool.
Yep,
it does okay. I mean, competitively, it's meh. It gets Quiver Dance, as Claude told
and
me
Moonblast, which is really cool. Strength Sap is really cool.
Strength Sap it gets all the moves that Vileplume gets. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's a lot of it has potential, except for the fact that being a poison type is not a bad thing anymore.
No, it's not a bad thing. Poison type got a buff.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a good card actually right now. I was gonna be like, oh, let's find a good card. Didn't the girl in that Pokemon TCG 4-part thing on
she had
YouTube
Oddish, I think.
She had an Oddish, but it evolved to Blossom EX.
I believe it did.
But it's not I don't think it's a Blossom EX card that exists.
Nope.
I think it just existed for that anime. They did come out with you could get the Oddish card though, which is really cute.
I guarantee it'll come in Pokemon Pocket though.
Oh, it absolutely.
I can see it coming in Pokemon Pocket.
I think they already showed in one of the advertisements, like the Miss Magister card or something that's in that.
Mm-hmm.
Was there?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are the only Blossom card in rotations right now.
Is the one like coin flip per energy, which isn't like terrible.
It is.
But there's better cards.
Well, there's 2 in rotation. One is from Obsidian Flames. It is a coin flip for 1 grass energy. Powerful Dance. Flip a coin for each energy attached to this Pokemon. Does 90 damage per each heads.
Like, that's not terrible, to be fair.
That's cute. No,
it's not.
It's rough.
And then there was one from Crown Zenith, actually. Just Crown Zenith. For a grass and a colorless, flip 3 coins. This attack does 80 damage for each head. Switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. That's not great, but it's okay.
The Obsidian Flames one's okay, but the issue is you have Brambleghast, which is a stage 1 that does that, but better.
Yeah, it does the exact same thing.
And also has an ability that just says, I get 50 HP for each prize your opponent's taken, which is just insanely
It's just better.
It's better.
It's better.
Better rate, better ability. Having a 300 HP Brambleghast is kind of insane.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised there was no Blossom card between that Crown Zenith one and Ancient Origins.
There's a lot of cards I was looking at, and I'm just there's nothing here.
There's a lot of Pokemon that just don't appear in the TCG ever, and it's upsetting.
We haven't had a Furret since Blazing Darkness.
I believe that.
Well, I was looking at Seal, because I was building GLC stuff, and we got one in Gen 4 era of cards, and then the other one after that, it was I think we got something in Team Up, or Unbroken Bonds.
Wow.
With maybe 1 card in between.
Really?
But it was yeah, it's oh, okay. So I have 3 options to choose from. Cool.
Wow, poor Furret.
Yeah, poor Furret.
Too bad that card's not good anyway, so.
Doesn't matter. It's about my boy.
I know. It means it's time. It's coming. It'll be here one day.
It just needs to be there.
All right. Well, I think we've covered Blossom.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, we definitely did. All right. With that, though, guys, we're going to kick it on over to the mailbag.
It's mail time! It's time for the mailbag! Send in your emails!
Welcome to our mailbag. Mailbag is the part of the show where you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com and let us know what you think about Pokemon in general. Of course, this segment is brought to you by the fictional energy drink Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves!
And we'll give out the Green Tauros badge to anybody we deem worthy. With that said, last week we asked you guys about your thoughts on Fire Red and Leaf Green, and we're excited to hear it. So let's jump into it. Our first email this week is going to be from Unovian, or aka Nova. Howdy do, Puckle Crew. Gosh, I haven't said that for a while. It's Unovian here, not to be confused with Ace Trainer Nova, for the first mailbag in a while. Writing is hard, but when I listened to your topic, I knew I had to make a quick mention of my experience with Fire Red and Leaf Green before I forgot. Namely, that I thought Fire Red and Leaf Green were the original games, that all of the anime and merch and even anime novelizations I read as a kid were based on. Oh no. I was in elementary school back in Gen 3's heyday, often watching my older brothers play Fire Red or Leaf Green, I don't remember which one, and watching the anime on TV. For a while, as a little kid, me was concerned. Pokemon was about just these games, and Ash Ketchum's adventures in Kanto. I mean, you're not exactly wrong. It wasn't until I came upon my brother playing Pokemon Emerald on an emulator that I saw some of the Pokemon I'd never seen before and went, wait, there's more? And it would take me a few more years before I learned of the existence of the original Red and Blue games. So if the goal of Fire Red and Leaf Green was to bring Kanto to a newer audience and make it relevant, for at least me, it certainly worked. Catch you on the flip-flop, Unovian, aka Nova. That actually makes sense to me. That is what I was worried about, because that was the purpose of those games, and it was very unclear to me whether or not that's actually what happened. So that's great.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Unovian, knowing that that actually worked on somebody. And that somebody was you.
We got one.
All right.
Our last email today is going to be from Gigasource Games.
Hello, Puckle Crew. Since Fire Red and Leaf Green were my second Pokemon games after Ruby and Sapphire, I thought I would throw in my thoughts on the Fire Red Leaf Green in retrospective. Overall, I don't remember being blown away by them at the time. And to this day, I don't think they have anything especially interesting beyond the historical perspective of starting the trend of Pokemon remakes. I do appreciate that they exist, but these days, mostly because I feel they are a good benchmark to compare BDSP to when people ask my opinion of games. Both remakes effectively copy and paste the original stories without notable changes to major Pokemon in the story, and they have similarities in Pokemon distribution. Moreover, they have the player use at the time modern tools to play through the game with similar options. If anything, the upgrades to the underground, opponent teams, and battle backgrounds actually make me feel that the comparison is flattering to BDSP. Okay, alright, I gotta stop you there. You have to think the original Gen 1 didn't have, you have to think the type chart changed. You now have abilities and held items, which is drastically different. The game changed so much.
It is much different. It is different. It is much different than it was before. You are correct, Claude. I think Dark type is the biggest thing. They did actually...
And Steel.
Also, Fire Red, Leaf Green made the games easier for people who aren't aware. Because there's always that traditional, easy mode, medium mode, hard mode with Pokemon, with Gen 1 in particular, which is your choice of starter, whether it be Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander.
Mm-hmm.
They made them all easy mode for Brock. Essentially, one of the biggest things that happens in Gen 3's Fire Red Leaf Green, it's not in Charmander's level up move list in Ruby and Sapphire, actually. Charmander learns Metal Claw, I think, at level 13.
Yes.
Mostly to handle Brock.
Yep, to help.
Yeah, it's stuff like that happens a lot in Fire Red Leaf Green, where they do stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of the equivalent of... when you play Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and if you did Let's Go Pikachu, very early on, Pikachu learns Double Kick. It's the same thing.
Just for that. I think Eevee learns it too.
Yeah, they do that. They do that on purpose to make the game easier.
Oh, of course.
There's a lot more difference for Fire Red Leaf Green. Comparing both those remakes to the original game, Fire Red Leaf Green 100% has a lot more changes. Because you gotta think of just the bare bones of, we went, Gen 1 to Gen 3, just bare bones structure of the games and mechanics changed a lot. Again, as you said, held items, special, not the split, but you'd have split of your stats.
EVs and IVs, the modern incarnation.
EVs, IVs, move pools.
And even Gen 3 to Gen 4 has a bigger split than the Gen 4 to Gen 4.
Yes.
Gen 4 to essentially a Gen 8 mechanic is not much different, really. There's a couple, key things, but, nothing bare bones. The bare bones structures of a Gen 1 game and a Gen 3 game are completely different. A Gen 4 and a Gen 9, we'll say, even though it's with, Gen 8, I think. But there are changes, yeah, but not much comparatively, You have the weird things of, the things of, grass types being immune to Leech Seed, that type of stuff, which is more...
Or Sleep Powder, yeah.
Yeah, those weird, typal immunities and things like that. Compared to, special is now 2 different stats. And then types.
Exactly, yeah. Even I said, all of that, but... Anyways, back to the email. On the other hand, having played Pokemon Crystal on Virtual Console this month for the Puckle Badge Bonanza, I can also see how Fire and Leaf Green are enormous advances over Red and Blue at the time. I didn't read the next line.
We didn't read the next line where he made all of our comments. Continue.
Yep. The better move pools, running shoes, upgraded art, mechanics definitely made Fire Red and Leaf Green much more accessible than the grind that Gen 2 is, and what it made me assume Gen 1 was. Because of this and the opportunity to draw in new fans at the time, I can definitely see the argument that Fire Red Leaf Green were beneficial to the survival of the series on the whole after the original Dexit in Gen 3. Yes. Anyways.
The original Dexit in Gen 3 was rough.
It was like the BDSP to our current gen of we need to fill in the gaps of all the Pokemon for Gen 1 and 2. Here you go.
Oh, they did. Oh, we're 100% living in that era. I 100% believe we're living in the Gen 3 post-Dexit era. The way they handled it has been so clunky, and I mean, it's still being handled very clunky.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, until we get the release of PLZA, Plaza. I'm just going to call it Plaza for the rest of forever. Once we get Plaza, I'm sure we're going to finish everything. Everybody will have a home on Switch. But I think it's really funny and cute the way they handle it in Gen 3. Because they definitely did it to maximize the number of games we buy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh my gosh.
I think to complete the decks right now, it's close to 1,000 to like buy all the games and consoles and things you need to finish everything.
Well, if you don't play Coliseum and XD, you can still do it. It's definitely still.
You can.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. XD Coliseum is probably more important to finishing in terms of like speeding it up.
You're right. You don't need XD, but you need Coliseum.
No, you don't. Why do you need Coliseum?
You don't? I thought there was something you needed for it.
You don't need any of them. You don't need either of them.
I can't think of anything in there other than like a Celebi event.
The Celebi event doesn't even exist in like the US versions. Jirachi's the bonus disc.
Jirachi is in BDSP.
No, we're talking about just Gen 3 in general.
Oh, so complete deck in Gen 3.
In Gen 3, yeah. You don't need XD Gale of Darkness or Pokemon Coliseum to complete the decks.
It's just a lot faster.
It does speed it up because like the biggest thing is like the legendary dogs, or I shouldn't say dogs, beasts.
And the Johto starters.
The Johto starters are available in Pokemon Emerald, but yeah.
Yeah, but you have to then beat the game 3 different times and catch the
Same thing happens with I agree with you.
It's more time, but you can do it though.
Alright, anyways, back to the email.
All Coliseum does is speed it up. XD, I think, is like just superfluous. It helps you get a Lugia.
That said, I will say that I think the most interesting thing that came out of the Sevi Islands was probably the Fire Red Leaf Green arc in the manga that introduced Silver's patronage and the cliffhanger to parentage. I can't read. Yep. And the cliffhanger to lead into the Emerald arc. The rest of the existence of the islands in the games just does not stick to my memory at all. I honestly forgot that you helped Bill fix the PC until you mentioned it last week. I feel it necessary to defend my favorite Pokemon from the not exactly slander level it received last week, Relicanth. While Water Rock has other Pokemon, and the design is just a brown camo fish, the living fossil design just makes me happy, and it gets multiple useful abilities in Rockhead and Swift Swim. As such, I would argue that it is at least better than Wailmer and even worse than the even worse Swalot.
You gave Relicanth crap? What?
Yeah, what did you do last week?
To be fair, I didn't do that. It was Whimsicott.
Oh, okay, you're blaming someone else. It's fine.
Relicanth kills Zard Y. What do you mean? It's the premier Zard Y counter.
I did not say anything bad about Relicanth. I said nothing bad about Relicanth. I said bad things about Wailmer, because Linian said that all the Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon were lumpy. And I was like, yeah, and Wailmer's the peak of Pokemon design.
Swalot is. Did you see its mustache? Like, Gen 3 is the mustache generation. You have Swalot, you have Wishcash. What more do you need?
Did you just give 2 examples to make it?
The only thing that we missed was getting Probopass in Gen 4.
Probopass eventually.
Did you give 2 examples of mustaches and say this is the mustache generation?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, an equivalent mustache that Swalot has also exists on Gyarados. Like,
your point is?
I'm pretty sure I can find at least one more mustache Pokemon in Gen 1.
If you're writing in, please tell me why Gen 3 is the mustache generation, and if not, prove me wrong. If you've gotten to this far in the email.
I don't know why you're listening to this show at this point. It's fine.
Anyways, as always, thank you for all the work you do into the episodes. Hope you have a great week. Gigasaurus Games.
All right. I don't know who to give the badge to. I think Gigasaurus probably has it.
I think, honestly, out of the amount of the stuff we've said, it's Giga, but let me see if he even...
I think Gigasaurus might have it.
He already has it. He definitely already has it.
Okay, Unovian, you get it, because I'm pretty sure Gigasaurus has it. With that said... we're going to go ahead and end the show here. If you want to email us next week at puclpodcast@gmail.com, let us know your thoughts on Johto. If you've been doing the Puckle Badge Bonanza, let us know your experience. If not, let us know what you think of Johto. With that said, though, guys, if you want to keep hanging out with us, you can check out the Discord at pucklediscord.com. Additionally, you can follow us over on Twitter, Instagram, the Facebook is the other one. Yeah. Additionally, you can follow us over at Twitch at twitch.tv/thepucklpodcast. I will stream this week. When I will stream this week, I do not know yet, but I will, because I am on vacation and have nothing else to do. There will be an announcement in the Discord and our socials for that. Additionally, you can also follow us at YouTube, youtube.com/pucklepodcast. And finally, if you want to help support the show, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/pucklepodcast, or go over to our, or go to Troll and Toad and buy some cardboard with code PucklePod5 at checkout. You get a 5% discount. With that, I have been Trainer Thatch.
I've been Shamu.
And I've been Clod9.
And here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.